In this presentation, I'm going to break down two parts of government that are often misunderstood: bureaucracy and the judicial system. Based on what we learned on this class, a lot of people form their opinions about these systems from media or limited experience, which creates misconceptions. So I'm going to explain what these systems actually do, highlight 5 things that the average person may not know about each, and then finish with 5 key things I personally learned over the last 7 weeks. From lecture and class material, I learned that bureaucracy is often misunderstood as just red tape, but it actually plays a critical role in government. These agencies don't make laws, they carry them out and decide how those laws are applied in real-world situations. They are staffed by trained professionals like analysts, investigators, and administrators, and not just politicians. Another important point is that bureaucracy exists at every level of government, not just federal. And because of how policies are implemented through these agencies, they actually have a strong influence on how laws affect people day to day. Without bureaucracy, the government wouldn't be able to function effectively, especially in a country as large as the United States. Bureaucracy is basically a structured system of agencies designed to implement laws and maintain order. A common misconception is that it's inefficient and unnecessary. But in reality, that structure is what ensures consistency and accountability. Without that structure, decisions would vary too much depending on the person making them. So while it can feel slow at times, it's actually designed that way to ensure fairness and proper procedure. The judicial system is one of the most misunderstood parts of government, especially because of how it's portrayed on TV. Most people think trials are common and dramatic, but in reality, most cases never go to trial. Plea bargains are actually the most common way cases are resolved. The process is also much slower than people expect because it involves multiple steps to protect people's rights. Another key point is that judges have discretion, meaning they can make decisions based on specific facts of each case. That's why outcomes can vary even under the same law. The judicial system's main role is to interpret laws and resolve disputes. It's built on due process, which means everyone has legal rights that must be protected throughout the process. A common misconception is that the system is always fast and completely fair. But in reality, it's complex and can be influenced by things like legal representation and available resources. From a real-world perspective, cases don't move like they do on TV. They involve a lot of more procedures and decision-making behind the scenes. Over the last 7 weeks, I learned several things that changed how I view government. First, bureaucracy isn't just a problem, it's actually necessary for organization and consistency. Second, the court system is very different from how it's portrayed in the media. I've also learned that a lot of important decisions happen behind the scenes, especially in bureaucratic agencies. Another key takeaway is how much discretion impacts outcomes in both systems. Overall, I now understand that government processes are much more complex than they appear to be on surface. In conclusion, both bureaucracy and the judicial system are essential parts of government that are often misunderstood. Many of these misconceptions come from lack of knowledge or unrealistic expectations. By understanding how these systems actually work, it helps explain why government decisions don't always match what people expect, and ultimately helps us become better, more informed citizens.